Good morning. Actually, I'm a managing partner for Yuan Capital, and we are focusing on the security of data. And I have been asked many times a question of what kind of what is the direction I predict, which is the good which is a very promising direction for the future trends. I think the source security or cloud security is one of the most important and most promising trends in this field, because the traditional security technologies are being transformed to embrace new technologies. And everyone here for this computing conference, I think every one of you agrees with me that cloud is the future orientation. And the current framework or current architecture and the existing security measures lag behind the demands for cloud data security. And when the traditional architectures are transferred or migrated to the cloud, they couldn't find responding security products and architecture to secure their data. And another interesting thing is that in the security or the cloud security service providing industry, it's not the service of defense or prevention. For instance, in the antivirus service provider, it's more attacking. It's so-called malware defense and protection service. And some of the hackers, they created a malware platform, and if you are an agency, you can buy or purchase this kind of malware from this platform, and you can send this malware to any of your targets of blackmail to attack this person. And when this person is operating these malwares, his payment will be divided and distributed to those hackers. And all those attackers, they don't have to understand the intricacies of the computing. What he has to do is to select what kinds of websites and what time you want to attack. Then you just pay, and the attacking will be done by the hackers. And there is another interesting of the source attacking source platform. Some of the work was done by this because of, for instance, some of the verification code is keyed in manually. And for instance, in the stadiums, you can use. There are lots of new technologies of using facial recognition. Lots of the hackers, they have already been using this kind of technologies in a preemptive way. They have been using those cloud technologies much earlier than we do. And the protection measures and the protection and the security products and services lag far behind those hackers. What is the cloud security service? Cloud security service is one of the cloud service. And what is cloud service? And everyone knows about the basic architecture service. For instance, you can purchase those cloud data reading service. And we also on this basic platform, you can also have lots of computing service and other services as well. What is computing? Cloud computing, and that is to say, the computing. All those computing work is being packaged into service, and they can be delivered. And what is the cloud security service? Cloud security service is defined as a kind of security service provided to enterprises and clients. And they are closely connected to the data security and other security issues. For instance, firewalls. Firewalls at the level of the infrastructure architecture, has cloud markets, and in the Ali's cloud market, you can buy some virtual firewalls. These are in the IaaS security service. In English, there are several words, several vocabularies related to this, and among them, and the service, or it's called the SECaaS. Any kind of security, when it is delivered in the form of a service, it is included as SECaaS. And it's a wide definition. And just now, the previous speeches have talked a lot about the SECaaS. And even a device is delivered as a security service, then it can be included as a component of SECaaS. I believe SECaaS is much larger than cloud service. And another one is called the cloud-based security services. As far as I'm concerned, I highly recommend. And I think this kind of services is targeted mainly to this the public cloud service. And I would like to share with you some of my observations on the cloud security service. How can we design a cloud service, security service? It has some features. It is delivered in the form of a service instead of the traditional product concept. And the cloud security service, it also satisfies the common demands. And the traditional concept is to satisfy those customized needs. And the cloud security service does not satisfy all the demands of all people. It satisfies the common demands or the shared demands of all people. For instance, 10 of us, when we went back the time channel to those primitive era, 10 of us wanted to build a wall, a physical wall, against all the invasion of animals, maybe in the primitive era. And the cloud security service is similar to doing like this. We want to satisfy the common demand, or the shared demand, in an effective way of all human beings, of all clients. And with the development of the technologies, we believe that people have different demands as time goes by. For instance, 10 people, when they evolve, then when live in the primitive era, they wanted to build a wall against the invasion of the animals. Then they would have diverse demands later. In the traditional part, they have lots of substantial reservation of resources. They have a budget, and the previous year's budget has to take into consideration all the needs and the resources needs for the next year. And cloud service or cloud security service is elastical in the use of resources. And the cloud security service is not customized because efficiency is much more important than customization. And we don't need any customer service team. And this is the ideal. Highly efficient is one of the ideals of the cloud security service. And the traditional ones usually provide customized or in-depth customization. And in the cloud service scale, we can achieve scale of economy with a larger number of clients. But in the traditional way, we usually want to maximize our profits margin in the single clients.
And according to my research, I have summarized there are few frameworks that is about the secure cloud secure service, you can, based on this framework, to do a lot of service. And I tried mine personally, and from domestic and international companies or startups. Actually, as for the cloud secure service, the only small part. There are a lot of cloud secure service can be provided for the customers. There are a few parts. The first part is about the delivery method. That is whether you sell those virtualizer or the platform or to provide service or business. And another, there are some dedicated cloud or hybrid or public cloud. And as for the target, it's also very interesting. When I make the framework, I found that the Chinese cloud security market is quite different from the international one. Actually, as for the internet market, it's quite different as well. And Chinese government and operators, they have a lot of related market, which is quite different with international market. And there are a lot of features about Chinese only. And also, as for the technical region, I'd like to share some cases. So that is to say, we can combine, just like doing some multiple choices. We can, based on their different features, and we can think what kind of form it can have. So we can see a lot of interesting service. The first one, just like Ali Cloud and other cloud providers, they are provide the cloud security service, major is about the cloud mainframe or the cloud. But actually, cloud service is more not only about the cloud end, but can only be provided in the user end and the network end. And also, as for the non-cloud servers, they can also be provided with the service. For example, here we can do the cloud and management. For example, in traditional enterprises, we would install an enterprise version antivirus, anti-leaking, or the and management, and sometimes we will buy a defense protection, so that means in the work time the staff, they can only enter into some certain network, but when they are free, they can search anywhere they want. But actually, as for the public cloud and SaaS, how can we provide the service to the small and medium-sized enterprises? Because usually they are lacking of money, and it costs 300,000, and it is too costly for them. They only have 100 staff. So if we can provide a complete set of the service, they can be integrated in the cloud. For example, I am a boss, I have 100 staff. That means I will install an agent in different end, so that in one server, I can control all those computers. I can see whether a lot of I can scan how many networks can be viewed by our staff, or how can the USB thumb drive can be used, so that I can have a better monitoring and management of those companies. So as for the small and medium-sized companies, we can use this way. And also, as for the network visiting application, there are a lot of international companies. They think whether we can do that in pipelines. Just like IELTS meeting, there are to break the box. Let's make them to deliver to pipe. And currently, as for the bandwidth, it's band enough, just like intelligent routers. And as for the traffic of those output of the enterprises, you can be delivered to the cloud provider, so that they can provide fireworks or antivirus or behavior management and ATP test on cloud. So you don't have to buy those services, those products. And this one is quite developing and quite popular. And as for China, the P here is quite suitable for the providers to do that. And the last one, we talk about the log. Just like in the environment, if you pay attention to the news, you can see that there are a lot of networks. Their logs are, they don't have no log, they don't have storage. Maybe they will be prosecuted to break the law. So there are some requirements about the logging, keeping of the different networks. So as for the provider, if you want to buy a server to store the log, you have to buy a lot of devices and you have to maintain. It is quite costly. So if we can use cloud logging, it will be better. It will be better. So also in foreign countries, there are some ways to tackle that. Just like in the outlet of the network, there will be a software. So it will gather your traffics. For example, you can use the full outsource, or they will have a source code, source data. You will put them in the cloud, and then that is the logs and the data can be stored on cloud. And even as for some threat report, and the sales measure is measured by how large is your data, is your log. So that is the feature of the cloud service. That means if you have to connect different softwares, it is not cloud secure. It is more like a customization cloud. So the cloud security actually is according to traffic. It is, you can only gather everything you need. This one is quite popular in developed countries. They are developing really quickly. So I think this may be another hot topic for the future. So no matter for you are secure, cloud secure providers, I have some suggestions. Firstly, if you are providing the secure, cloud secure, you have to choose those big scenarios with the most users and with ample market space. So if you can only, you can find a outlet, that means you can meet a part of the simple demands of those users. You have to find enough users. And the second one, it should be a very simple business logics. And also you have to have a very quick selling measures. Even you don't have to have sales. Once they can just read it and it's very clear in the website, it is more attractive for the users. And then I think they should not meet all the users' demands. Or I don't think customization is the best way. If you want to customize, it is not your target customer. You just want to find those people who don't want to be customized. And also, I think there should be a big enough difference between the traditional options. If your cost is only 1/10 of the traditional option, the customers is willing enough to buy your product. And also it should be elastic and agile. So that is my presentation. Thank you very much.